G'day everyone and welcome back to Bizy Ranch. I'm Bizy in the fish room, and in this short video I just want to go through and just do a quick document of the fish that I've got in the fish room that I'm starting with at the very beginning of my fish room. If not for you, more so probably for myself, just so I can look back and see where I really begun. So I'm just going to go through and have a look. As you can see, the room is in the works at the moment, still plenty of stuff to do, and I've put a few fish tanks in here at the moment. And I've just drilled those, and you can probably see how I did those in my other video. But anyway, let me get through and I'll just record what I've got so far. So the most annoying part is going to be because I haven't actually fitted lights to half of these racks yet. So I'm just going to do my best to show the fish, but if I can at least just talk through what fish are in here, that'll remind me what I really started with. So this first tank off to the left here has got 8 juvenile L397s. You can see there, and they are scattered around the tank, growing out at the moment, and I eventually want to make that a colony in that tank there. The next one is 4 of the adult L397s. And so they're just in their caves at the moment. You can see there's one in there, there'll be a mama. There's a dada in there and another one in there. So I've still got a lot of escaping to do with these tanks, and again, can't really see what's going on because I haven't put the lights in these tanks yet, but I'm just trying to escape them into natural habitats as I go through, which the plane is not going to be part of. But this tank here has a couple of leopard frog L134 plecos in here, only 3 at the moment. Pretty expensive over here in Australia, but I'm going to get some more of those to fill the colony out. Again, they're just juvenile fish at the moment. They're going to take a while to grow up. These ones I only just picked up last week actually. They are the L066. So they look very, very similar to the L333s. They are hypancistrus, and there's 7 juveniles in this tank. So they're actually going to take probably like another year and a half to grow out to be any sort of breeding size. Bit hard to see again. Yeah, there's another one hiding under the filter there. So that's all I've put in this side of the room at the moment. The other tanks are still just empty as I fit them out. So just moving around now to, so the tank there is my standard Discus tank. I've always had these guys, the very first tank that I got. It's got 3 Discus, 2 Platinum Angels, a couple of Cardinal Tetras, some black Neon Tetras, and some Longnoses Tetras in there, and I think there might be a couple of Bristlenoses. Yeah, there we go. There's a Bristlenose albino down the back there, and I think there's another common Bristlenose as well. So that's all that's in that tank at the moment. Moving across, and I do want to move a lot of these fish around as I set the other tanks up, but let's just go through and see what's in the tanks as they stand. I guess this one at the moment, I've just moved 397s that I had out of here, and you can see I've got lights in this setup at the moment. So what's left in this tank is just Harlequin Rasboras. So I haven't really done much with those guys at the moment, it's just been keeping them. I did start my hobby just collecting these fish because I like them before I even tried to start breeding them, so that's where a lot of these guys have still come from as well. The next tank along is my adult peppermint bristlenose. I don't think any of them are on eggs at the moment. So there's probably about, I think it's half-half for males and females. They're just chilling out in their caves at the moment. Yeah, no eggs or anything like that, but that's fine. I haven't really got them, as you can see, it's pretty basic setup, and I haven't really done much with them at the moment. Some peace lilies poking out the top. Awesome root system when they've grown out as well. Moving across is just some wild fish that I've been catching and taking care of because I think they're awesome. It was a day trip I went out with the family, and me and my partner brought back some local fish, some crimson spotted rainbows. Obviously I didn't want to get any more than I've currently got, and that's when I sort of grow them out and get them nice and big and have them in a community tank. I don't know if I'll really try breeding these guys at the moment, but I just think they're really awesome. So they just guys in there. You can see I've got filters and stuff everywhere, just keeping seeded until I get a proper use for them. These guys here, there's a couple of glass fish. There's one there's another one probably hiding up the back. And then there's 2 smelts, which I caught as well. purely just to have a couple when I think they're cool, because they're a local native fish. Down here is my adult lucara. I did have extra adults, except that it's not a fish that I want to really continue breeding so much, and so I got rid of the other adults, and I've just got this one pair left in here. I did want to keep a pair just because I think they're beautiful fish, have awesome colours, especially when they get into breeding mode. The colours just really bounce, just really pop out. So male and female there. This tank here has, and sorry for the glare, it's a bit hard to get rid of. It's got some red top hongies. Let me try and focus that in. It's really bad at focusing. There we go. Some red top hongies. There's the male on the right there, and the female just swung behind the filter, and one frontosa. Unfortunately, when I moved all my tanks downstairs, I lost one of the frontosas. I didn't have the lid on properly, and she jumped out during the night. So it's pretty disappointing. It's never a good thing when you lose some fish. So that happened probably a couple months ago now. So I've just got the one frontosa left, unfortunately. But I'll try and get some more later. I just think they're a really cool fish too. Here as well, the hongi did breed, and I took the eggs out of the female's mouth. You can see they're just starting to wriggle, and they've still got their egg sacs with them at the moment. So I've just separated them so they don't get eaten. Moving down, there's more local fish that I found, which I think are cool as well. Purple spotted gudgeons, and I've just got a colony of them at the moment, just because I think they're cool and I just want to check them out and have some. This one here, now these tanks are like original tanks that I'd had, so some of them aren't in the best condition. This one is probably the worst tank that I have. It's really hard to see through the front. All the other tanks that I'm getting are being built for me, so they're brand new, but I'm just going to try and clean this one up later as best I can. At the moment it's just housing some grow out acara. In particular, this one here is a neon acara. That actually came from these guys here. So I'm definitely going to keep the neon just because it's another cool strain. I think it looks really awesome. The rest of them are just other acara grow outs, and there's actually some red top hongi grow outs as well. That one there is a red top hongi. I did sell a whole heap of the acaras just because I had so many, just to try and move them on and give myself some more space so I don't have to feed as many males while I'm working on the fish room. But that's just what I've got left at the moment, just letting them grow out a little bit bigger. Moving on, I have some Venezuelan Corydoras. A bit hard to see again. There's two of them in there. Again, just some fish that I'd had previously when I was keeping fish upstairs. And super red swordtails. There is one female and two males. There. Darted away. There we go, not a male there. You can see the male with the actual sword in their tail. And in the back I have three crebensis. There's one there poking his head out. So I know there's a pair in there. Two of them have been spawning together, although I haven't actively been trying to collect the eggs or anything at the moment, just while I'm spending so much time on actually fitting the fish room out and building it up. And there's just a couple of small Bristlenoses in there that are growing up that were from these guys in here. I think this guy in particular is sitting on eggs at the moment. It's probably a bit hard to see. Yeah, I can't really get in there well, but he's got some eggs in that tunnel there. And then these were all just the other Bristlenose that I'd had spread throughout my other tanks. So I'm probably going to move these guys along at some stage, because it's not particularly, I don't particularly want to be just keeping standard Bristlenose, because I have, man, the glare is so bad in here, because I have these guys in here. So I did have some long fin, I'll see if I can get an adult. They're hiding in the back there, the adults, but the adults bred with a standard common Bristlenose, and then they produced a whole lot of offspring with the long fins, which I love. Some of the babies don't have the long fins, like that albino one just there, so I'll probably sell those ones just to move them along, and I really do want to keep the long fin variants as well. So just growing those guys up to make the colony bigger. You can see there's the tail of one of the adults in the back there. And then there's this, you can see there's a mixture, because it was they crossbred with the long fin and the common. There was pretty much half-half with the long fins and the standard fins. You can see some of them have got really long, beautiful fins on them. And then I've also got another 3 platinum angels growing out in here as well. The 2 platinum angels that I had over in the big fish tank over there, unfortunately again what happened was the female jumped out of the tank when I moved everything and I lost her. So another sad story, but that's pretty much all the casualties that I did have with the move. And so I'm just going to be growing these guys up to hopefully get a female as well. Down here, guppies. I'm not a big guppy person myself. However, I bought a couple of guppies, and as you know, guppies, they just breed and breed, and then they get overwhelming and they don't stop. And there's one random acara that somehow got in there, and I have no idea how. So we'll see how guppies he or she eats, and I'll try and snag her out at some point and move her across to the grow out. Moving across to the right here is my albino corydorus. Again, most of my fish are sort of growing out because I haven't really been in this hobby for too long. So they're getting bigger. At the moment they're just chilling out. I do need to give this tank a bit of a clean. It's got a lot of algae film on the glass. However, I think that I've got all females. I hope maybe there's one male in there, but they all look very plump, which should be the sign of females in here. And the eggs that they're spawning are actually, let me focus in, are all white. So notating that they're unfertilized eggs. So we'll see what happens there. If they are all females, I'll have to go and get some males. And then moving up to the tank above, you can see I like my peace lilies as well. I had these in a lot of the tanks upstairs just to make some greenery happen. So there's still so much work in progress, but I've just poked them in here at the moment. They do love sticking their roots in the water. In here is grow out peppermint bristlenose. So again, I'll try and get some light. The glare is so bad. So there's actually quite a lot of peppermints hiding all through here. And I'm actually trying to just grow these guys out to increase the colony as well, because I do love these guys, especially when they're babies. Their colours are just amazing. Like the camera just doesn't even do it justice as to how good they look when they're juveniles. So jet black with the little white spots. So there's probably a couple of dozen peppermints in here, and you can see the little white stripe on there. They are the 181 L181 variants, I believe, that they don't keep the white stripe on their tails there, which is more common to find in Australia as well. Also in this tank with these guys, I have this little fish. So if I can catch him, they are half beaks. These are golden half beaks. Not exactly platinum because they do have a little bit of colour. It's so hard to get these little guys on camera. Golden half beaks. So I've got, I think, 4 in this tank, and I'm just having them in here to grow out. Let's try and get that guy there. There you go. So they're just in here as well. Really cool to watch these guys eat. So the beak themselves, there's a long elongated beak, which is essentially the bottom part of their mouth, and then the little short top beak as well. I'll have to figure out a better way to record all this stuff without all the glare, but for now I'll just finish going around so I can capture everything I've got. That's just some Bristlenoses that are growing out. They just hatched from these guys over there, so I'm just letting those guys grow out. I have some more guppies in here. I actually just wanted the it's a Japanese lyre-tail, Japanese blue lyre-tail male in here. And whenever these guys get imported, they don't usually like bringing the females, so I've just put some female guppies in there to breed out and see what happens, just as a little project. And they've just got some Java moss in there as well. I got banana worm culture happening there. Down here I have some black worms culturing up. There's really not many at the moment, and I do want to start a different project to really try and capture a whole heap of bloodworms. I'm going to make a video on that later when I get into it. These guys do grow pretty slowly. A lot of people chop them up to split them in half because the reproduction is very slow. You can see the tiny little tail wiggling there. So there's definitely not many in here at all. So I haven't harvested. I've just sort of let them go, and I'll start on my other project later when I get a chance. Lastly, there's 3 little tanks here. I have some blue dream shrimp just in this tank at the moment until I've sorted them out. You can see them in there, there's just scattered throughout the tank there. I haven't really done much with these guys, they're just sort of hanging out while I'm working on the room. This culture here is an infusoria culture, so it's going to look pretty manky, and I don't know if I'll be able to capture any of the infusoria itself in here with this camera. It's probably going to be quite difficult, but there is very, very tiny little white specks in here, which is the infusoria. So it's purposely manky, so it's producing the infusoria for these guys. Oh wow, you really can't see in here properly. If you can see it on video, awesome. Otherwise, take my word for it. There is little Bozeman rainbow fish in this tank anyway. So the sponge I bought from Nick from Keeping Fish Simple, and the eggs hatched out into little Bozeman rainbow fish. So they're very, very tiny. You probably see them darting off to the left there. Probably only a dozen hatched, which was a lot less than I expected. However, still got some eggs to hatch, and just been feeding them up on that. And then when they're a little bit bigger and coming into it, I'll feed them the banana worms. Anyway, short and sweet. Really bad reflections on all the tanks while I've been going through it. Man, I nearly forgot. This is a video I've taken like 2 days later. I almost forgot one of my favorite fish in here, so I'm just gonna turn the camera around and show you the little last fish that I almost forgot, which is these guys, little pea puffers, freshwater pea puffers. I do have 4 of them in here, and I'm pretty sure again they're all females, so lucky me. You know, I'd love to breed them, but even just having them, I think they're so cool. Look at that little guy. Oh, sorry, little girl. Anyway, short and sweet, really bad reflections. I'm sorry on all the tanks as I've been going through there. You can see I've still got a lot of work to do in the room here. I just wanted to do a quick document to see, you know, look back on and see what I really started on in the room. There's so much work to be done. There's so many spaces for fish to take up, and I'm gonna have to get a lot more breeding stock in here. However, I'm just enjoying it as I go along, and we'll see where it goes to from here. So thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions on what I've done with the room as you watch these videos, please hit me up in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.